I understand that sometimes you go into a game with an agenda.
Yeah.
Now, clearly, I did not want the Rams to win. However, I'm watching that game. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm wondering, is this confirmation bias or am I accurate? For much of that game, do you feel like the broadcast tried not to show the huge amount of 49er fans? Now, sometimes when you take certain camera angles, it's impossible not to see the scope of the stadium. But in watching that game, and this could be because I wanted to see the 49er fans, I wanted to kind of make fun of the Rams, but I feel like they tried to do a good job on the broadcast of not showing that it was overwhelming in terms of 49er fans. Am I wrong on that?
No, I was looking for the crowd shots, and I thought to myself, are they doing this intentionally? But Joe Buck is a fair guy, and he kept saying it was loud, I think, for both sides.
Yeah.
So if you were hoping that the Niner fans were drowning out the Rams fan, I don't think that was the case. But I think it was clear that there were still a lot of 49er fans there.
Well, when you saw, like, I had a buddy at the game, and I think it was 60 to 65% 49er fans. And there were parts where if you went to a low angle, you could see that. And then I think, look, I understand Fox doing this. I think strategically, when the Rams would do something good, you could also find pockets and sections where it's overwhelmingly Rams fans. So maybe this is just me kind of going in wanting to see all the 49er fans, but I felt like I waited a long, long time before I saw a good wide shot of really what the crowd looked like.
There was chunks, I think, right behind the goalposts. There was sections. They avoided it.
But do we agree? Let me ask the dais here. Do we agree that as much as we wanted it to be dominated by 49er fans, and I do think it was clear there might have been more 49er fans, but Rams fans were also pretty loud. Nate, did you, just by listening, do you think that, at least 40,
when the game was over, it was pretty clear that there were plenty of Rams fans at SoFi Stadium. They were making noise.
That could be, though. They could have extra noise implemented
they could.
In the sound, too.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. There is it's almost like a stock crowd noise sound where there's like whistles and stuff. And I was wondering if they were playing that on the broadcast where to even it out. I have no knowledge of that, and I'm probably wrong. Seth, when you were watching it, did it seem more balanced than we probably would have liked?
It was kind of like what Nate said. Like as the game went on, it felt like you could hear the Rams fans a little bit more. Yeah. I do want to point out there was one catch that Cooper Kupp made in the fourth quarter. I think they were down 17-14, but he made a catch and he almost broke off for the touchdown. It was like a 30-yard gain, and he showed emotion for the first time. I'd never seen him you don't see Cooper Kupp. He's pretty mild-mannered. You never see him show a lot of emotion.
Yeah, I like him.
But there was one play where you could see the emotion come out.
How does he get open?
I don't know. Every damn time he's open.
I know they have a couple of big-time receivers, but that's the guy you got to look, and he was wide open. And what do you have? 6 catches to convert third downs? He was the story of the game for the Rams, obviously. But how does he get so open? It seemed like they were playing off of him, almost giving him too much leeway.
I think when you're a slot guy like him that moves around so much, it's harder, I think, to have one corner trail him the entire game when he's moving so much, right?
Yeah.
He's not a typical X receiver that just go to the right side of the field, that's your spot. He moves constantly. I know this is a cliche, but when you watch that dude, he is a freaking expert route runner. I'm talking precision. Like the one big catch at the end was kind of a slant. He wasn't that open where Matthew Stafford just threaded the needle right to him, and he had that huge gain on the final drive there. So you know who else? So Cooper Kupp is going to get obviously ton of pucks.
As he should.
But do you know who was huge in that game? Was former Mizzou tight end Kendall Blanton. Honestly, there was a time there where the pass rush was really getting to the Rams, and they basically said, you know what? We're going to let your pass rush basically over-pursue, and Joey Bosa is going to come after, and then Kendall Blanton's going to shed him for a second. Kendall Blanton had more catches in this game, I think, than he's had his whole career.
Yes, he had. And
honestly.
Right? Depth chart, they had some injuries and everything. He wasn't supposed to get so much run, but he did, and he showed up big. What you need, in important games, you need everybody, they say, and he showed up. There's no question about it. He was a key. But, without Cooper Kupp, they're not even in that game.
And still,
give Stafford a lot of credit. You know, back when I played fantasy football, he was my guy. I mean, he was really good for a long time, but, you know, didn't get much of a sniff of the postseason. I thought that was a good move for the Rams to decide that that's going to be our guy. I give him a lot of credit, too. He's one of the guys I don't root against because he wasn't around for anything. And I've always kind of liked him.
Yeah, so he's a warrior. Remember the one play when not to mention when you're playing for the Lions, like, they're so bad, and it just proves how bad that organization is as a whole for a long, long time. And I remember a couple plays. Remember he got hurt, and he fell on his shoulder popped out, and he's like, no, I'm good. And he just sucks it up, and he finds a way to break a tackle and make a play with a bummed-out shoulder. Like, that guy's a warrior. And I root for guys like that.
He took a beating.
He doesn't say stupid things. He just does his thing. He goes out there, says the right thing. Hell of an athlete. And it just shows how crappy that organization is. I mean, they truly, truly are. The Lions, my goodness gracious. But, yeah, I don't know, man. This is going to be an awesome Super Bowl. Fun.
I hope it is.
That stadium looked pretty dope. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Oh, it's
an
awesome stadium.
Unbelievable. It truly did.
I thought it looked awful.
The other thing about that stadium,
really
where even if you do have a ton of the opposing fans, which happens, and by the way, even if it's 60-40 or 65-35, that's enough Rams fans to get loud.
Yeah.
Like, when it's your turn to get loud, you can get loud with 35 to 40% of the stadium. But I think what is really cool about SoFi, I have to say, because it's this huge multi-use stadium that's going to be Chargers, Rams, they're going to have Super Bowls, obviously. They're going to have huge bowl games. They're going to have every event, boxing matches there.
NFL Network is on campus.
They got all that. But for the in-game, those banners they have, right, going throughout every level, because clearly they use those for the Chargers and the Rams. But they can make those beautiful Rams blue with the yellow all around the stadium. Even if that stadium has a bunch of red jerseys, all of those really neon lit up banners throughout. And it says our house, your house, Rams house, whatever it was. Do you see that? I mean, that's all throughout, making the whole inside of the stadium look this beautiful Rams blue. I hate to say it.
I mean, you see all these guys at the 50-yard line at that stadium. Like, how much are those tickets? Like, whoa. Like, so expensive.
Sometimes when you want things to work out and they don't, and like the stadium's nice and you wish it wasn't, sometimes you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Lie. So I heard reports that they had outhouses outside the stadium, that there weren't even restroom facilities, and also in every concourse they have giant statues of Stan Kroenke.
Oh.
Those, of course, are lies, but I wish they were true.
He wishes.
But you know what I'm saying? My whole thing about this the whole time is I just don't want to see that man getting the Lombardi Trophy. We saw him getting the NFC Trophy a few years ago. He got it again. I didn't like seeing it. You know, I see Les Snead up there. I can't be mad at Les Snead. I think Les Snead, he was here for what, a year or two? I mean, he drafted Aaron Donald. He drafted Todd Gurley. I do think that whole regime, though, I think, because that was towards the end of Fisher and Snead in terms of any other market, it would have been like, if you don't make the playoffs, you're fired in St. Louis. But clearly the goal was to move. And I don't think, that's not conspiracy theory. That's now fact.
Yeah.
So my point is, when Snead and Fisher were here, it didn't really matter what they did, wins and losses. It actually helped the move for them to lose. Yes. I can't really be mad at Les Snead, but just seeing some of those folks up there, specifically Stan Kroenke. I mean, Kevin Demoff wasn't at the podium, but we've seen him in shots up there in the suite. And I can't be mad at the players. I think, you got Hecker, you have Aaron Donald. I think Rob Havenstein, the offensive lineman, he was here for a year. I don't know how many players actually played in St. Louis besides those three.
You know, it's funny. On Twitter, because it's not personal. Like, I'm not personally attacking the Rams. I'm just rooting against them. I've said it before. I don't hate watch them. Like, it's not like I watch them to. But if they're in the playoffs, I'm going to root for the team they're playing. And so I was getting some blowback on Twitter, which I was surprised by people saying, you root against them just because, of them Yes. Yes. Like, I'm allowed. Like, there's nothing. It is irrational for me to be mad at you for somewhat giving the Rams a pass. But I understand that your wife had a good connection with them, and she's happy. But for me personally, I'm going to root against them.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Can't help it.
I figured they'd chirp you for the other way around. Not for that.
No, people were like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense. You're going to root against." Yes,
of course I am.
And I had two people say unfollow, as if that wrecked my day.
Oh God,
that's tough.
Settle down, Twitter.
It makes me.
Hey, people were chirping Tony Romo. They're bashing him. Is he? People were like,
For
"Oh,
what?
he's yacked up." He just kept talking and talking. You don't hear him talk.
He didn't know the rules on a couple things. He didn't act.
The challenge.
He didn't even actually know the rule. He put out there what they should do, which was not allowed by rule, like stuff he should know. Right? I can't remember the circumstance, but he's like, "Hey, they should." Yeah, that's not reviewable.
Like
he
was
should
geeking
know.
out a little bit.
Well, there was one in the first half where, because the Bengals challenged, and whoever challenged the play, they got it and they won the challenge.
Yeah.
And Romo said something like, "You're going to lose your timeout," and Nance was like, "Well, they won the challenge."
Right.
And then you could tell Romo stopped, that he clearly didn't know the rule or was confused. So, look, that stood out a little bit.
There were two of those in the game.
Yeah.
And there was a couple times where he was explaining things where he wasn't really clear. Look, I'm not here to judge. I mean, who am I to say this guy's? I always thought he was fine. In the beginning when he first started, I thought he was overhyped. People loved him. But I think he's fine. I think he does a decent job. But I would say overall, if you're saying he had a bad day yesterday, I would agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's making a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the lineup and what a great day to tailgate in KC, by the way. We're talking about KC, how fun that town is anyway. No offense, St. Louis, but KC's nice. It's really nice.
KC has some of the best tailgating in the NFL, and I think I've been to almost every.
Did you see the lineup? They lined up, like the fans got there the night before, and they park first, and there's a gate there, and they spend the night and barbecue in line before they get to the tailgate to barbecue. And like, what a cool 2 days to watch your team play, and it's like 50 degrees out too.
And KC is a good example where a lot of people push for a downtown stadium whenever there's a stadium project, which I get.
Yeah.
And a stadium is great for revitalizing a downtown area. But there's the other part of it, which is KC's a great example. I think Arlington, with the baseball stadium and Jerry's World, if you have space and you have land, kind of like Glendale out there for the Arizona Cardinals, you can create just a monstrous parking lot facility for tailgating. And that's look, I'm sure some people wish that KC's football and baseball stadiums were more downtown, but because they're out on the outskirts a little bit, you have two massive parking lots, which have become just the absolute perfect tailgating scenario.
It was kind of, when I first came to St. Louis and you saw the tailgating at the Dome, and it was like piecemeal, because they didn't have big lots, because it's in the city. So you have like, hey, we tailgate over here with 25 other cars. It's not the same. And I always felt the Dome was kind of antiseptic. I always use that word, antiseptic. It didn't
Define
have
that
kind of grit.
Like what?
Run of the mill.
Okay.
Nothing, no character.
Yeah.
Now, when the Rams were good and the fans filled it, it wasn't noticeable. But as the play dropped off and people started losing interest, then it became very apparent. But tailgating, like for a Rams game, wasn't really tailgating by comparison to Kansas City. Philadelphia is the same way. Philly's complex is in the city, but it's sort of on the outskirts of the city.
It's cool.
And they got miles of parking lot. And when you have miles of parking lot, you're going to have tailgating from hither to yon. I like that.
You're right with the Philly thing. I love playing there. You roll up, you got the ballpark, you got the Spectrum there, and you got the Wachovia, whatever it is. It seems relatively safe. You got bars right there, so it's kind of like a ballpark village, but way bigger with everything in one complex. It's actually quite neat.
For the record, nothing as good as Ballpark Village.
Yeah, no, I get you on that. But they got to go. Hey, did you see some of the tweets Patrick Mahomes had afterwards? He said something like, I wrote it down here. The odds were against us. We shouldn't have made it here. The odds were against us, and da-da-da-da. We're like, what?
Well, wait, was that
they were.
The TV station you talking about?
No, I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes saying the odds were against Kansas City Chiefs the whole time.
Yeah, he put this out on Instagram, basically thanking the fans, saying, it was a great ride. But in a sense, he's true, because they started off badly. I mean, people thought they weren't the same team, and to their credit, they did make the corrections. But early on in the season, they were turning the ball over a lot, and they were losing games, and I think a lot of people did write them off.
I think, though, and I know the local TV station in Kansas City put out the tweet, and everybody was crushing him for that. To me,
what did they put out? What did
we can find it? The same type of thing.
Yeah.
Against all odds. Nobody thought we'd be here.
Yeah.
You were the preseason Super Bowl favorite.
I know.
So I'm sorry. I know that your first couple games you gave up too many points, right? And then they righted the ship defensively, which, by the way, towards the end, that defense.
Did they lose 3 games early on? I mean, that's
no, they had 5 losses total, I think. I think they were 12-5.
They were bad for a while.
But my point is, you can't play that. I'm sorry. Patrick Mahomes,
3 losses in the early going, where a lot of people were like, yeah, they're not the same. I get it.
Okay, but you're the preseason favorite to win the Super Bowl, and you've been to the last 2 Super Bowls. You have the same cast. You have all the same guys. You can't play that. I'm sorry. You can't play back against the wall against all odds. That's
and he got
ridiculous.
bashed for it.
Can we say it on this show that against all odds, we're like a month into it and they haven't yanked us yet? Is that fair to say?
Well, I mean,
we're not through the day yet. They could yank us.
It's only 7:36.
We do have the T-shirts.
I think don't we
5
have
of them.
Don't we have 2 years at least? Don't
we got 2 years,
we have a 2-year prove it deal. I feel like
we got 2 years. 855-282-8255 Bertarelli Cutlery text line here. Scooter New City yacked up, no doubt. Cam. Yeah, he did seem kind of yacky a little bit there, talking about Tony Romo. Sanderson, they pronounced Kroenke's name wrong. I think old boy kind of botched that.
Bradshaw called him Cranky.
Cranky, that's right. Is that on purpose?
No,
he's kind of a goofball. I don't know.
I like Terry Bradshaw. I think older guy, been hit a lot, and I think he just sometimes you forget folks' names. I think he kind of just we all do this. You know how you don't know someone's name 100%, so when you're saying hi, you kind of mumble it to give you the out that maybe they don't hear it. Hey man, right? I think he did that.
Oh, I know.
And here, hand this off to Mr. Cranky. That's kind of how Terry Bradshaw.
You know what I do?
It.
You know what I do to people when I forget the name? I just if I'm with somebody, I'll be like, hey, this is so and so.
Yes.
And then they'll introduce, and I'm like, there it is.
Yeah, but in a way, like you do that probably with your wife a lot.
Always.
And then you put your wife on the spot.
There it is.
And have you ever done that? I do that all the time.
Oh, Jim,
and
all
I'm
the
like,
time.
hi, this is my wife, Erin. And I push her to the forefront. You figure it out. And she's like, why do you do that all the time?
Now you know. Yep.
Deflect.
Yep. It's not just you. Yep. It's not just you, Kate. It's not just you, honey.
See, I always reintroduce myself. Sometimes the folks I've probably met, but years ago. Like, if you met somebody 5 years ago, do you remember that? If you only met them once?
No, but if you think you might have met them already, then it's kind of like, oh, big time Charlie doesn't remember me.
I'll meet him yesterday and I'll forget.
That's my whole point.
Yeah.
I don't look at that. If you met me once, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 5 years ago, and you forget my name or vice versa, I don't take that personally at all. I totally get it. I'm the same way, which is why people maybe are more mad when you reintroduce yourself and they're like, hey, we already know each other.
Yeah, that's why I don't
But
do
I go,
that.
I mean, if that was 7 years ago, come on.
I'll hang with a guy for 2 hours and not know his name and just get by with a conversation. 2 hours and forget it. And then finally he'll pop up somehow inadvertently and I'm like, oh, you're Chris. And I don't mean to be gutless on it. I just don't want to.
No,
what do you do?
You don't want to offend someone.
What do you do? I can't remember.
Names are tough.
They're tough, man. I'm the worst.
And you took a lot of shots in the NHL. Wait till you get older. It's going to be hard.
You know what people do sometimes? And I remember girls doing this. They you're hanging out or something. All of a sudden they'll be like, "What's my name?" Again? And I'm like, "Oh God!" But guys do that to me, and I'm like, "What are you? What's my name again?" I go, "What?
What?
Yes." I'm like, I don't know. I'm talking to you, aren't I?
I can see a girl saying that, but if a guy
that's
says
what I'm saying. Guys do it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm talking to you though. We're talking. I forgot your name.
That's the worst.
It's the weirdest thing.
So what do you say to that? You just go, dude,
like,
stop.
I don't know,
dude.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's my name, Brian? Sorry. Like, I'm not ignoring you. I'm talking to you. I just forgot your name. It's all good. Damn.
That's the worst.
So weird. $7 billion stadium must be awesome. Better be awesome. Well, yeah.
I like that it was supposed to cost $2 billion. I do like that.
Tim Van Gelder.
Is that petty? Like, are we petty?
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a good gauge on that kind of stuff. Like I don't want bad to come to that team or anything, and I don't hold it against them. But if you're on television, I'm going to watch the game. I'm rooting against you.
100%.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. It does cost more for the taxpayers, I guess. So that I don't know. Does that kind of
no? That was not taxpayer funded.
Okay.
That's the whole part of it.
That's what made it beautiful.
The reason Kroenke was able to go there by the owners, and they all wanted that project, is he had the deep pockets, and he was funding that stadium basically solo.
Tim Van Gelder chimes in and goes, what a shame there isn't a trial going on in St. Louis right now. Instead, Team St. Louis took a knee, stonk is going to spike the ball in our face, and frankly, we deserve for being pansies.
Well, a source just told me that some of that, it's not $790 million because there's lawyers' fees, but some of that money went to the purchase of our T-shirts for Hot Take Central.
Ooh.
We got 5 of them. And I'll tell you what, they better be XL.
I might put that in the tweet.
They better be XL. I'm telling you right now. Because
I'm just wondering.
Stan.
Listen.
I'm just wondering because I go through this a lot. I hate to say it, not to keep bringing it up, but with YouTube, I'm very cognizant of copyright. Okay, you have to own your content.
Yeah, dude.
You have to own every piece you put in that video. Somebody can throw up a copyright claim, a copyright strike on your music, on your pictures, and I'm just wondering if that Hot Take Central logo, did we create that? Did somebody grab that off of Google?
So what I was going to do on the tweet, because I want to get out there, because let's face it, we're sort of a fly-by-night show, right?
Mm-hmm. Night by night.
But nothing will speak to stability like the fact that we have T-shirts, even if the board op got them made. But I was going to tweet out a picture with
the board op,
right? I mean, it's Seth. I love you.
Still alive.
I love you,
board
Seth.
up.
But I was kind of mocking the whole thing that it's not like it's a station initiative. One of the cast members got him, on his own dime. So I was going to put out there, here's our T-shirt, and I was going to put disclaimer, I have nothing to do with this. If there's any copyright, and I'm going to put Seth's name. That's fair, right?
The
Yeah.
logo
And
looks familiar.
By the same token, it gets your name out there again because Seth is on Twitter now. And while everyone else was afraid to welcome him to Twitter, I did because I love Seth and I want Seth to flourish. I want him to flourish.
I threw an American flag at you, I think. That just means what's up, That does look
I want
familiar.
him to flourish.
So
Why are you against him?
I love Seth. Have you tweeted yet?
Yeah, I've had a
Yes.
couple tweets.
Why do you follow him?
How'd they go?
A whopping 1 or 2 likes.
That's fine.
Well,
That's a
let's
good
start
start.
pumping it
That's a
up
good
here.
start.
I did.
What is it? Seth, what?
It's
Don't be afraid.
It's at SClose590 the fan.
Okay.
All one word.
By the way, hot_take central is on Twitter, too.
Can you say that again?
Hot_take central.
And what kind of, if you follow us on Twitter, what kind of exclusive information are you going to get?
Really?
Can you lie about something here?
Exclusive polls in terms of
There it is.
Hot Take Central
Hold on.
polls?
Exclusive polls.
Sure.
That's what we give you.
Here we go. Okay, so I look at my phone way too much. I wasn't really looking at it a ton this weekend. I did see that text, so I'm looking at Seth's Twitter. He's got a couple retweets.
Hey, read the Bengals one, their preseason odds. You might have to scroll down a little bit.
150 to 1.
Yeah.
Are you?
Wow.
Wait, are you saying, hey, go back and look at a really good tweet of mine?
Yeah. And
Yeah, you're new on
and
Twitter.
Give it a
Don't do
third
that.
like.
Don't. I love you, but don't do that.
I'm liking every single one of his tweets right now.
And why don't you
Too
use
kind.
your own big Twitter following to say,
I will.
How about following this
Yeah.
guy?
Thank you.
Look at this. You go through this. There's good information.
Yeah.
There's good takes. Look at this. This is before the fact, right? In terms of gambling, Seth, you said 4 points was too many, correct?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
you're right.
The Vegas odds, the lines already came out for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's -4 Rams. I think it's 3.5 now.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant for the 49ers.
There's
But I
also-
agree with
Never
you.
mind, you were wrong.
You should also put some pictures of yourself, like curling or something.
Yes.
Like hitting the weights or fighting a bull, like doing
Yes.
a bullfighting, something like that to let the people see what you're all about.
How about this? Look at this content. Seth's last tweet. Only 2 quarterbacks there was a typo. Got to go back and clean that up.
Oh, you cannot do that, sir.
Okay, maybe it was a comma issue, but only 2 quarterbacks have won starting in both a Super Bowl and national championship. Joe Montana and Joe Namath. Apparently, not a bad name to have if you want to become an NFL quarterback because Joe Burrow can be the third.
Yeah, they said that in the game, and I was a little.
Did you steal
ticked
that
off.
from the broadcast?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
I did catch it. Yeah.
Oh, now hold on a second.
Wait.
Hey, I just
everyone
hold
say
on, I
anybody
just
can
caught
tweet it. Oh boy.
You have to write then, as I heard in the broadcast. You can't take
All
this
right.
as
You
your
have to
own
do that?
nugget. I don't think. Okay,
I'm sorry.
First
I'm
of
still
all,
a rookie.
How does that work?
everybody's watching the game. So if some broadcaster says this and everybody hears it, you can't go to your Twitter and then just tweet it. You have to be like, as I heard on the broadcast.
No,
I have to say,
and here's what made it worse, Seth, is that he was pointing out the good information, and unless I
Just to
said
out me.
something, you would have accepted the praise.
dude.
Oh, what kind of human being are you?
Jim's like, wait, I heard that exact quote on the.
And I knew it was. I knew it was a similar time frame because, unlike your partners, I actually follow you and hope for you to flourish.
Yeah.
I promise. I'm not trying to claim that I'm this genius or like I.
But
found
you're
out
able to
something
hear a
that
good
someone
stat
else-
and then post it as your own on Twitter.
Yeah. So what? Should I tweet?
You know what that
Romo
makes you?
then?
That makes you Darren Ravel, I guess.
Karen Ravel. It's Karen. He changed his name.
Nate, what is your Twitter? Because we always.
We don't. It doesn't really matter. I don't even care. I don't tweet. I hate Twitter. I think it's a cesspool.
I already regret giving them my.
I don't
handle.
want to. I don't want to leave you out, Nate, because
it's
my love
okay.
for Seth is the exact same as my love for you. Both are
I
very
love
hot.
Nate on Twitter might be hardcore.
It's been
Nate might be-
hardcore.
Nate might.
That's why there's no tweeting.
It's one thing to say it on the radio. It's another thing to type it out,
Exactly.
dude. It's a completely different animal, unfortunately.
I don't need receipts.
That's funny, Seth. You're going to notice, though, you're going to have a tweet where you're going to be like, oh, my God, this is so good. And you're going to have all this information. You're going to send it out, and you're going to be like, this is going to flourish. And all of a sudden, somebody's going to be like, you said you're, not you are, or whatnot. And the whole tweet's just going to be,
They don't even
just
care.
doesn't even matter.
But that's secondary to the pilfering of other people's information at this point.
It's funny.
I think that's fair, right?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
All right, lesson learned.
But I actually do want to say that the Bengals preseason odds were 150-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's the highest that they've been since the Rams in '99. The last team to have 150
Where'd
to
you see
1
that
odds or
stat?
more.
Who told you
I came
that
up
stat?
with it
Who
myself.
told you that
I
stat?
did some deep dive
Tony
research.
Romo?
See,
Yeah.
now,
No,
but
it was
now
actually-
everything's under suspicion.
It was
You
actually-
understand
It
that.
was New York Post.
We're going to go
There you
through.
Was it on the Was it in the New York Post?
It was.
Well, at least you're reading the paper. That's
So it
all good.
wasn't a deep dive.
No, that was a lie.
Right.
I thought we knew I was being sarcastic. Maybe not.
No, I didn't know.